How are you there, Mooch?
Good morning, Rich. I'm great. What a weekend we had, huh?
That was, well, I mean, it was blowout weekend, that's for sure. And the Steelers blew out the Dolphins, and, it just, there are moments where games can turn, and obviously James Harrison sacking the forced fumble on Matt Moore just when the Dolphins could have scored before the first half and then scored in the second half was a difference there. But let's go through the aftermath right here. Do you think Haley, Tomlin are lamenting the fact that they had Ben in the end of that game and now he's in a walking boot, Steve?
Well, yeah, obviously hindsight is like 20/20, and you say, "Darn, I wish he wouldn't have gotten hurt, and maybe I wish he wouldn't have called that pass play and started running around and took a half sack," But I would tell you this: we all watched the Green Bay Packer game too, right? And the Packers were blowing out the Giants, and Aaron Rodgers was in the game. They finished the games, and that's what they do. So when a coach says, "All right, you're finishing this game," that's when the quarterback has to protect himself. That's when the play caller has to protect the quarterback and not put him in the pocket where he's holding the ball and then taking those hits. So, you know what? It happens sometimes. It would really be unfortunate if Ben's limping for that Kansas City game.
So
these guys play. Aaron Rodgers played. And we didn't even think about him getting hurt in that game because he runs around so well.
So your buddy Andy Reid's watching that game, seeing the Steelers doing their thing. What's he thinking watching that football game, do you think,
Well,
Steve?
I'm sure he thinks they're pretty good because they've beaten them already this year, right? And so, but Andy Reid's team is playing very well right now. Andy Reid is, 19-2 after a bye? Rich, think about that. And they had the bye. They got freshened up. When he has 2 weeks to prepare for somebody, he's unbelievable. So that's going to be, plus, in Kansas City, that's going to be a heck of a game. And if any, these two teams, Pittsburgh or Kansas City, they will have a shot to beat the Patriots. Houston does not have a shot, but Kansas City and Pittsburgh would have a shot to beat the Patriots. But let's see who wins this one. It's going to be a doozy.
How does it match up, first blush?
Well, when the Killer Bees are all together, my God. I mean, that was the theme out of this weekend, Rich. The home teams won. It's the first time all the home teams won since, 2011. But then the great players made big plays in every game. Aaron Rodgers tore it up. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown and Ben tore it up. I mean, all the good players, Russell Wilson, played like they're supposed to play in big games. So, when you talk about having these Killer Bees healthy, and they haven't been healthy together. They are such a dangerous offense. It's going to be a matter of can that Pittsburgh defense, that young defense, stop Alex Smith and his weapons. They don't turn the ball over. It's going to be one of those games that goes down to the wire. A couple veteran quarterbacks. Maybe it comes down to with crowd noise helping, with weather helping, but they're both outdoor teams. I don't know. I haven't thought enough about this one to pick a winner in this game. Right now, it's pretty even.
Steve Mariucci joining us here the day after Wild Card Weekend on the Rich Eisen Show. After the game, you knew that Ben McAdoo and everybody involved on that boat trip and the Giants front office or the staff would be saying, the coaching staff would be saying the boat trip had nothing to do with the loss. What do you think? Do you think the boat trip had anything to do with what went down in Lambeau yesterday?
I'm driving to the airport today and turning on the radio, and people are talking about it. People are talking about the boat trip, and it's not the reason. It's not the reason Odell Beckham dropped 2 or 3 passes, and that they were a little bit out of whack in the passing game. What it affected was those 2 days that they were traveling and down there. They weren't resting. They were on an airplane. They were. It was just kind of a. They deviated from the normal routine of a week. I hope that's not normal for them. And so, as a coach, Rich, when you play a Sunday game, typically on a normal week, you come in on Monday, right? And you get treatment, you watch the film, you meet with your coaches, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you work out, sometimes you have a quick practice. And then you get Tuesday off, just Tuesday. And then you got to be fresh and ready to go bright and early Wednesday morning. Well, sometimes when a coach gives them, you win a game and you say, I see you on Wednesday, and that means you're blowing off Monday. You're blowing it off. That means the guys don't have to come in. unless you're hurt. Well, that's the risk you take as a coach, that somebody's got 2 days to travel and do something, go home or whatever that is, and you run the risk of them going away and getting on an airplane. And it was kind of, the whole thing was silly, taking pictures on the boat. They left themselves open to criticisms. There's no doubt if they would have won, we would not be talking about this, but when they lose, we're talking about this. And they did play poorly. They did play poorly. And so I think they're going to be having to answer this for a while. And it's unfortunate. But, maybe it didn't affect the game, but it affected those 2 days. They certainly didn't rest. They certainly didn't get treatment. They didn't watch film. They didn't do anything that helped them get ready for a game like the wide receivers did from Green Bay Packers. So, anyway, it is what it is, and the Packers just taught him a lesson, I think.
A couple of more questions for Mooch before he gets on his plane to finally go through the raindrops and land in Northern California here in the winter storm that everyone's under. So Aaron Rodgers and the Packers now move on to Dallas. And, after another performance for the ages for Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson appears to be considerably banged up. First blush here, I guess it would just have to be on number 12's shoulders to do another great job with the Packers defense being more and more stout as they have been over the last 7 weeks themselves. Right, Steve?
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to go back and watch the game when Dallas went into Lambeau and beat them and scored 30 points on the Packers. I'm gonna really look at that. The other thing, you mentioned Jordy Nelson getting hit in the ribs, but Ty Montgomery came out of that game, Rich, too, with a knee. And, they already were down Eddie Lacy and James Starks, and then Ty Montgomery, a receiver from Stanford's playing running back and doing it well. Luckily, they had Kristen Michael, who looks to be okay, playing running back. But honest to God, Aaron Rodgers, you know who Aaron Rodgers reminds me of?
Go for it.
Steph Curry. It's like when he's in a zone and he just shoots it up and from three anywhere, he hits it. When he is hot, when he's in a zone, look out. Aaron Rodgers is Steph Curry. And when this guy starts slinging it in there and all these tight fits, it's amazing to watch because he can do it from anywhere, anytime, with any receiver. This Geronimo Allison kid, who in the heck is that? All of a sudden, he's making a name for that kid. And Randall Cobb finally came back, and he scored 3 touchdowns. And they still have Devontae Adams, and and Cook, and they have some weapons even without Jordy Nelson to beat the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sure the Dallas Cowboys they raised their eyebrows and went, "Ooh, this is a better Packer team that we're going to see."
And I guess last one for you. What do you take out of Seattle's win over the Lions as they go on and take Atlanta? And that's one of the team. That's the winner of that game. Obviously faces the winner of the game we just discussed in Dallas.
Yeah, Seattle and boy, they do a good job. Pete does such a good job up there, and I love watching that team play. Thomas Rawls. He may not be beast mode, but he's like beast mode junior. He had 161 yards rushing. Their offensive line's better. Their defense, we all compare this team to their Super Bowl teams. They're not as good. Let's face it. They're just not the same. New offensive line, very young, but getting better. Their secondary's missing Earl Thomas. That really hurts. I don't know if Seattle can score enough points to stay with Atlanta. Boy, Atlanta's crazy good too on offense. So, I got a feeling, at first thought, I think Atlanta wins that game at home. They're rested, but you never count out Pete Carroll's teams because that bunch can put it on you. They got playmakers, and they just Russell Wilson's won a playoff game now every year he's been in the league. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is five years, and he's done that for 5 straight years. All right, Steve. So I assume as I let you go here, the XO Showdown Championship belt that you got back, or that you won from Kurt Warner, or as Kurt would say, stole. I assume that
I got it on. I'm in the airport, LAX, and I got that belt.
Oh, so it is not. I was assuming it was checked. You checked it underneath the plane. You took it through security. Did you, Steve?
Yeah, I did. I had to put it through the X-ray, but they let me wear it. I have it on right now, in fact. We do these phone calls once in a while from weird places. How about last year when I was in the Superior
jury duty?
Court,
Yeah.
Santa Clara Superior Court, when I was on jury duty, and I went in the bathroom and we did this. We did this interview. I thought I was going to get arrested.
Where are you now? Are you in the back of like?
I'm in the terminal. I'm looking at my airplane and I'm looking out the window. It's raining like crazy. I hope I can go back home because yesterday I got canceled.
Well, at least you're in a spot where you could snack and not be called out on it, Steve.
They do have food here. I'm going to go hit the breakfast bar right now.
All right, you got it. That's thanks.
Man.
You got to take care, Mooch. Travel safe. There it is, Steve Mariucci.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.